I get it. It's pretty frustrating. There are people out there who just seem to keep making progress. Even after the newbie gains, they just keep getting stronger and stronger, leaner and leaner, fitter and fitter. And then there are also people out there who just seem to keep showing up and spinning their wheels, and unfortunately, nothing ever really changes for them. So why does exercise work for some people but not others? What are the successful few doing that the rest of us are not? Look, I've been training in and out of gyms for many years now, but I'm not here to talk about myself. I didn't find some revolutionary solution to a timeless conundrum. I've just been observing. The answer is simple. It's actually pretty boring, and it's not a secret, it's not sexy, it's not in some sacred textbook that you have to climb a mountain to find. It's all around you. I mean, literally, look around you. Tons of people have figured this out. From local legends to world-renowned competitors, the great achievers all have this one thing in common. They don't just exercise, they train. Exercising does not equal training. Simply put, exercising is acutely performing any activity which requires physical effort in order to improve health. Now, at first glance, this sounds fine and dandy and healthy and whatever, but it's actually missing something. It's a bit vague and immediate. Exercise is just physical activity for the sake of physical activity. Maybe you want to burn some calories or get the blood flowing or sweat through your shirt so you can feel like you've made up for that donut you ate this morning. That's what exercise is for. And don't get me wrong, exercise is still great. I'm a huge proponent of exercise. I think everybody should exercise. The American Heart Association has conducted several studies proving that some exercise is better than none. And that is faux shizzle. Let's be honest, getting some exercise in is definitely better than just Netflixing and chilling all of the time forever. But after a certain point, exercising more and more just isn't going to elicit the kind of changes in your body that you want to see in order to achieve long-term specific health goals. Like if you really want to build a substantial amount of muscle, if you want to lose a substantial amount of body fat, if you want to move better in serious, significant ways, exercising isn't going to elicit those changes. This is because exercise focuses on the activity itself, not the results of the activity and the progress made because of it. If exercise is taking a step forward and Netflixing and chilling and eating donuts all day is taking a step backwards, then training is like taking a step up a staircase. It's on a whole different level. Unlike exercise, training is consistently performing specific activities which require physical effort in order to produce a desired outcome. When you exercise, you are taking steps just to take steps. But when you train, you are taking the necessary steps required in order to achieve a specific and defined goal. Training is goal-oriented, and it requires a growth mindset. It's playing offense, not defense. It's getting the body to adapt to imposed demands. It's specific and individualized. It's figuring out where you want to go and then figuring out how you're going to get there. Like you don't just hop in your car and drive around haphazardly and hope that you wind up at the airport. You figure out what your destination is and how you're going to get there. Then you hop in your car and drive to the destination as planned. Or at least I hope you do. Training doesn't focus on the activity itself, but rather the result of the activity performed and the progress made because of it. And we can use the same philosophy to look at nutrition as well, because there are people out there who feel like they need to eat clean because they've been bad and whatever that means. But then there's also people out there who understand the first law of thermodynamics, and they understand what a calorie is and what macronutrients are, and they can adjust their diets accordingly to reach long-term body composition goals. But tracking nutrition, that's a story for another day. Today we're here to talk about how you can turn your exercise routine into a training routine with 4 simple steps. First, you need a goal. That's up to you. Then you need a plan. That's up to your trainer or the internet or even yourself if you think you kind of know what you're doing. Then you need the self-efficacy, the consistency, and the willpower to actually execute the plan. Again, that's on you. Finally, you need a system for tracking your progress as you execute your plan. And that's what I'm here to help you with today. Setting your goal, developing your plan, and showing up with consistency are essential to actually achieving anything through proper training. But during the execution of the plan, where you spend a majority of your time as a trainee, where you spend a majority of your life, you're going to need a system of tracking your progress in order to hold yourself accountable to actually slowly progressing over time. And this system of slowly progressing your body over time is often referred to as progressive overload. And progressive overload is the ultimate key towards unlocking your true potential. If you're just showing up and going through the motions, you'll likely end up feeling lost, unmotivated, and uncertain after a period of time. You can't make progress without a reference point. How are you going to know what to do this week if you don't know what you did last week? That's where having a system of tracking your workouts really comes in handy. Now, I'm about to show you exactly how I track my workouts and exactly how I've been able to make progress over the past few years. But please know that you don't have to track like I do. As long as you can find a system that works for you, that's all that really matters. Some folks like to use the notes feature on their smartphones. Other folks like to use specific workout tracking apps like Stacked, Heavy Set, Strong, and the likes. But my favorite method, the tried and true industry standard, just involves a pen and some paper. And I have dozens of these notebooks full of workout logs, like years and years of progress. Seriously, I have a backlog of about 200 pounds of bench press gains. I'm super lucky because I started tracking when I started training. Back when I was but a young, angsty, preteen boy with a YMCA membership and a sick new haircut, it's all written down from the 45-pound bar all the way up to 245. So now let's take a look at what any workout training log should include. First things first, if I'm making a workout log, there's going to be a horizontal line and a vertical line. Voila! Art. Next, we need to write down today's date, and I also like to jot down the time that I started the workout. And then we need to write down the title of the workout, and maybe even the location of the workout if you tend to switch it up. And for the title of the workout, basically any half-decent exercise program is going to consist of phases and different workouts within these phases. And what that basically means is you're just taking like a long-term annual plan and chopping it up into monthly plans, and within those monthly plans, there's a bunch of individual workouts that get done. For this example, let's say you're in phase 2 of your long-term plan. Let's say that phase 2 consists of 4 workouts that should be completed each week. Maybe it looks like this. Monday, chest, back, biceps. Tuesday, legs, shoulders, triceps. Wednesday, rest. Thursday, chest, back, biceps. Friday, legs, shoulders, triceps. Saturday, rest. Sunday, rest. Phase 2, workout 1. We'll call it P2W1. And up here is also where I'd write down the planned rest time between sets. For this phase, let's just call it 3 minutes between all sets. Now let's also include any special notes about the upcoming session. Maybe you did yoga this morning or took some crazy new pre-workout. Jot that down. Then you want to write down all of the exercises you'll be performing during this workout. For example, let's say exercise 1 is the flat barbell bench press. Exercise 2 is barbell bent over rows. Exercise 3 is the incline dumbbell bench press. Exercise 4 is weighted pull-ups. And exercise 5 is a superset of standing easy bar curls and stability ball crunches. Then you want to write down the target sets and rep schemes for each of the exercises. Let's say for the first 2 movements, it's 4 working sets of 3 to 6 reps. For the next 2 movements, it's 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. And for the final superset, it's 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps on each exercise. Congratulations! Now it's time to work out. And as you go about completing your workout, you're going to track the weights that you used, the amount of repetitions that you performed, and the intensity of each set. Intensity is typically tracked on the RPE scale. RPE, or rating of perceived exertion, refers to how difficult a particular set of reps was. A lot of folks use an RPE scale of 1 to 10, 1 being super easy and 10 being excruciatingly difficult. Personally, I think that a scale of 0 to 10 is just way too large for a normal person to use accurately in the real world, outside of a laboratory setting. So I like to use a scale of 0 to 3, and the way that I track this is with a series of underlines. An easy, comfortable set gets no underline. A somewhat difficult set gets 1 underline. Perhaps you've got 3 to 5 reps left in the tank before your form goes out the window. A pretty difficult set gets 2 underlines. This is the kind of set that we are usually aiming for. This means that we only had 1 or 2 reps left in the tank. This is your best case scenario. This is typically where gains are made. An extremely difficult set gets 3 underlines. This means that your final rep was excruciating and that you likely even sacrificed your form along the way. This is a bit too hard. And then let's include a bonus notation, 3 underlines, and an exclamation point. This means that you went way too far. You flew too close to the sun, Icarus. You dropped the weight. Maybe you needed a spotter to help you out. Either way, this signifies that even if someone had you at gunpoint saying, hey, you better perform this rep or it's lights out, you still couldn't perform it. Lights out. That's how hard it was. That's too hard. Here's how it plays out. Let's run through my imaginary workout, phase 2, workout 1. We're starting with the flat bench press. Maybe you did a quick warm-up with 135 pounds for 10 reps. This was easy. Then you start the routine of 4 working sets of 4 to 6 reps. That first set was your warm-up set. These next few are your working sets. Now you typically only need a warm-up set if it's the first time that you use that muscle group that day. So for your working sets, you start with 205 pounds and you get 6 reps, and it was kind of tricky, but you felt like you still had a few reps left in the tank, so 1 underline. For the second working set, you decide that since you were at the top of the rep range and it was pretty easy, you move up to 215 pounds. You got 4 reps, but it was rather difficult. Still, you might have had 2 reps left in the tank, so that's perfect. 2 underlines. After a 3-minute rest, your third working set felt pretty much the same as your second working set. After another 3-minute rest, you go in for your 4th set. But by now, your muscles have taken on a bit of a beating, so you still get your 4 reps at 215, but that last rep was a killer. You barely made it out alive. Let's give it 3 underlines. Then you can simply track the rest of your workouts this way, and when next Monday rolls around and it's time to repeat the same workout, you'll have a backlog of your performance and you'll know what you need to do in order to make progress. But you might be wondering, how exactly do we make progress? Well, for starters, I recommend a very simple method of progression called double progression. In double progression, the goal is to increase your reps or weights each week. You will work with a given weight until you can complete all working sets at the top of the rep range. In our example from earlier, that would mean that you have worked your way up to completing 4 sets of 6 repetitions at 215 pounds, all with 1 or 2 underlines, but not 3. Remember, 3 underlines means that your form went out the window, and if you sacrificed your form, you gotta go back and try again next week. I'm sorry, but you gotta have patience with this. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. After successfully completing 4 sets of 6 reps at 215 pounds, you can go up in weight, but go small. Try going up just 10 pounds total and use 225. Now that you're using a heavier weight, you'll work at the bottom of the rep range. You will then spend the next few weeks working your way up to 4 sets of 6 reps with this new heavier weight, and when you can successfully complete all 4 sets of 6 reps, you'll add even more weight. And I must note here that if you are using double progression, it's super important to keep your rest intervals the same because that will affect your performance and therefore your perceived progress. I'm a huge proponent of the 3-minute rest period because there is a substantial body of research out there confirming the theory that it takes about 3 minutes for your body's ATP-PC energy systems to recharge. And I'm not going to explain that system right now, but in layman's terms, you want to let your muscles' batteries recharge before you use them again. It's kind of like your cell phone. You don't want to just charge it up to 15%, use it frantically for a brief period of time, and then charge it up to 15% again and just keep going like this at the tail end of the battery spectrum. No, you want to charge it up to 100%, use it all day until it's almost dead, and then charge it up to 100% again. And this is going to help preserve your phone's life over time, until Apple releases another one of those updates that basically turns your iPhone into a potato. Now, if you get your tracking down, you can improve all of your exercises like this and keep progressing for a long time. Double progression won't work for you forever, and nothing will. If you've been pumping the iron and using half-decent programs for over 2 years, I'd recommend looking into undulating periodization. Now, starting each workout log from scratch and tracking as you go is a great way to get started, and it'll give you experience designing a ton of different programs. You'll get really good at this, and especially if you're training in a public gym where you don't know what equipment you'll have access to on what days, I highly recommend the pen and paper method. But me, I've been doing something a little bit different lately. I've been creating printable PDF programs for myself and a few online coaching clients. Now, these are super helpful for quickly and easily tracking intelligently designed programs built up of consistent workout routines. That way you can write down the program once and print out multiple logs of it, and then I store these logs in a folder, which makes it easy to go back and review, and if the workouts don't change, neither do the logs. These printable logs follow the same structure as the written ones, but they just make my life a hell of a lot easier. And for some of the folks that I'm training online, I've even been hyperlinking them to exercise demo videos on their digital PDFs, and this has been super helpful. Technology is cool. And to speed things up a little bit more, if one of the sets that I did was exactly like the previous set, I'll just write an X on that spot on the log and I'll know that it was exactly like the set before it. This is especially helpful for programming trigger sessions, which are shorter duration workouts that are relatively easy and basically designed just to send an anabolic muscle building signal to the body. These trigger sessions are circuit workouts that are performed vertically down the list instead of horizontally, and since I don't usually change the weight or rep schemes of these workouts, I'll just write down one set and then from then on out, X marks the spot, or at least it signifies that I did my set. So if you want to save some time and get your hands on these printable PDF workout logs that you can customize for whatever routine you're doing, you're in luck, because I'm just gonna give them away for free. Simply head over to chasebarron.com, linked in the description, and you can get access to a Google Doc that you can edit and print and use to start tracking your training sessions today. So stop just exercising and start training. Stop just going through the motions and start making real progress today. Boom. That's a video.